Hi, boys and girls. Today I'm going to read Ruby Holler again. We'll be on chapter 35, but just to review some things. Remember, at the beginning, Florida felt that she'd never be part of a family, a real loving family, when the Hoppers returned her back to the orphanage. And then she went with her brother to stay with an older couple to go on these adventures, one to go down a river and one to go in search of a bird. And Florida was surprised when Tiller offered to pay her $5 an hour to help him fix the boat. Um, they are doing things around Ruby Holler and just kind of experiencing new things. And Tiller heard some whacking happening around the side of the barn. They go check it out, and the twins chopped a hole in the side of the barn. And Sari said, "Oh, what a good favor you did for us by putting in a barn window," even though that really wasn't the plan. Um, the secret that Tiller and Sari kept from each other for all those years, the only secret they ever kept, was where they hid their money in their Understone funds, and they just now figured out where each other's were because each person is going to pay for the other person's trip. Okay. Um, Dallas and Florida end up deciding to catch the night train, and they left money behind for the things that they took, such as their sleeping bags and things. And they ended up getting lost in Ruby Holler, not catching the night train. But Tiller and Sari found them, and they decided to camp out with them and suggested, "Oh, what a great idea on testing out the gear." Um, while they're out on the river, Florida and Tiller, they kind of both like to complain. Okay, they realize that about each other. And that's as far as we got so far. Okay, so I'm going to read chapters 35 and 36 today. Stiff. On the banks of the hidden river, Tiller and Florida were finishing their lunch. "You a little stiff?" Tiller asked, rubbing his back. "A little," Florida said, "and I'm about swole up and itching to death from these skeeter bites," which are mosquitoes. Tiller stretched. "I didn't count on my arms being so numb." "Your arms numb?" "More sore than numb. I feel like I wrestled 100 hogs," Florida said. "How are we going to carry on paddling with our arms all sore and pitiful?" "We'll take it a little easier this afternoon. Let, let the river carry us along. We'll be lazy paddlers." Florida stood on the river bank, her feet kicking at stones. "It's a stinky smell here, don't you think?" she said, "with the muddy crud and these ugly weed things." Tiller sniffed the air. "Whew! It's not that pretty smell like by the Holler Creek, where those itty blue flowers grow along the bank." Tiller closed his eyes. "Oh, I know which flowers you mean." "Tiller, you ever wish Dallas and Sari were here with us, going on down the river?" Tiller took a deep breath, looked down the river and up the river, and let out his breath, slowly, evenly. "About every 2 minutes I think that," he said. "You're not like Dallas," Florida said. "Is that good or bad?" "Neither one." "Well, how am I different?" Tiller said. Florida kicked at the dirt. "Well, Dallas is always thinking everything will be okay and stuff. But you complain a lot." Okay, and kind of like her too, right? "Me? Complain?" "Yeah, like I do." "Oh," he said. "It's just our nature." Florida knelt to examine a beetle scurrying along the bank. "I would never want to be all by my lonesome. Would you?" Tiller felt his heart do its fluttering thing again. He couldn't imagine life without Sari. It pained him to imagine it. And yet, not a half hour earlier, he'd been wondering what it would be like to be floating down the river by himself. "That's different," he told himself. "That's not forever aloneness." He glanced at Florida and felt another flutter. He hoped Florida would never be alone. "You hear me?" Florida said. "Would you want to be all by your lonesome?" "No," Tiller said. "I need someone to listen to me complain." Florida tilted a twig toward the beetle. letting it run up the side. I didn't mean it was such a bad thing to be a complaining person, she said. Don't go and get your feelings hurt. As they pushed off down the river again, Tiller said, Florida, aside from that scary toothless lunatic's place, did you and Dallas ever get set anywhere else? Oh, sure, Florida said, dipping her paddle slowly into the water. You want to hear about the Hoppers, who said we were thieves? Or the Crambits, who thought we were brutes? Or the nasty Bridgerton boys? Why don't you start with the Hoppers? He said. Chapter 36. A Long Chain. The air was hot and sticky as Sari and Dallas thrashed their way through a thicket. Vines tangled their legs, and briars jabbed their arms. It looked like this would be the shortest route over to that path on the hill, but I don't know now, Sari said. Let's stop and rest a bit, okay? She reached into her backpack and pulled from it a yellow scarf, which she tied around her neck. If she'd worn something like that at home, Tiller would have said, What's that around your neck? You never wear scarves. But here, Dallas didn't know and wouldn't care whether she was the kind of person who would wear a yellow scarf or not. She felt a little silly thinking about it. There's more bugs here than in the holler. You notice that? Dallas said, swatting at flies. Maybe my lucky yellow scarf will keep them away, Sari said. Maybe your lucky scarf will help us find water. I bet there's a creek right down there. I bet it's real clear, not some old muddy poison creek. And we'll splash in it and drink as much as we want. Sari sat against a tree, closed her eyes, and imagined that there was an invisible ball of twine unfolding behind her, all the way back across the hills to Ruby Holler. That invisible ball of twine was right there in her hand, and she had to hold it tight because if she let go, she and Dallas would be lost out there. What are you thinking about so serious-like? Dallas asked her. Nothing much, she said. You're not homesick, are you? Me? Shoot! No, we're on our adventure, said Sari. Not homesick at all. You know who you look like, sitting there? You know that picture in your kitchen? Of the girl and the lady sitting in the woods? You look like that lady. I do? That's my mother, and that girl is me, Sari said. She felt a sudden deep longing for her dead mother, and then wondered if it was harder to miss a mother you had loved, or, like Dallas in Florida, to miss a mother you had never known. And that picture next to it, Dallas said, with the two men, who are they? That's Tiller and his daddy. And the one next to that, the one of the couple by the creek, that's my grandmother and grandfather. And the one next to that, that's me and Tiller and our kids. It's like a whole long chain of connected people, Dallas said. Yes, Sari said, I guess it is. Want me to build a little fire? Dallas said. I know it's hot, but we could eat that can of beans. They'd be better hot than cold. You got the matches? Matches, Sari said. So it sounds like Sari and Dallas are forgetting a lot of things. So it's probably a good thing that they went on these practice trips so they can learn from their mistakes. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to have another teacher read a little bit more just on some of the other chapters because my computer takes a long time to upload these chapters. Okay. All right, boys and girls, have a good day. Bye.